Hi guys, JT here, and today I'll be bringing you some information on the Humble Bundle Black History Month bundle of January 2023. To help you answer the question, should you buy it? First of all, I just want to thank all of you for your support for this channel, and I hope that it has been helpful to you. Anyway, let's get into this. And number 1 we have Mafia 3 Definitive Edition, an open world action-adventure game. Set in 1968 near Bordeaux, LA, you play as Lincoln Clay, an orphan and Vietnam veteran who has just found out that your surrogate family has been mercilessly murdered by the Italian Mafia. Now you need to build a new family on your path of revenge. The Definitive Edition includes all DLC, meaning you get to explore more character stories, drive more vehicles, and murder more rival gang members with a wider array of weapons. The story is engaging, entertaining, and brings life to the world, especially if you enjoy character-driven plots. This game offers a ton of unique missions that are varied and enjoyable. These missions include murdering mobsters, tailing cars, getting information from a well-guarded crime lord, setting captives free, etc, etc. You'll also hear dozens of classic rock and Motown hits as you drive, which is nice. There are a lot of collectibles for you to find and a ton of optional missions for you to complete, so you'll be playing this a while. However, sometimes it feels like Mafia 3 is trying to be that other open world crime game that sold a bazillion copies and have been updated countless times, Grand Theft Auto. And that's a shame because the Mafia series had always had their own personality. The story may flesh out the world, but how the NPC and AI interact with the world is quite strange. You'll see corpses stuck in the ground with its legs flying about, sometimes clipping through the wall below, guards shooting at absolutely nothing, the cops deciding to shoot nobody else but you, even though one of the mobsters just killed somebody in front of their eyes, and enemies just sort of stand there, waiting for you to creep up to them to take them out. In saying that, this game still offers hours and hours of fun, with its fantastic story, unique missions, and tons of replay value, as long as you're willing to accept that it's not a perfect game. But at least, it's a fun one. Besides, seeing a corpse flail around aimlessly is kinda funny. And number 2 we have Shadow Man Remastered, an action-adventure game that was originally released in 1999 on the PS1, rebuilt from the ground up, including previously cut content. Based on the Shadow Man comic book, you play as Michael Leroy, aka the Shadow Man. You're a voodoo warrior tasked with protecting the world. Your mission is to head to the dead side, the land of the dead, to stop an impending apocalypse. You must hunt down undead serial killers threatening to harm the land of the living, using your voodoo powers bestowed to you by a voodoo priestess, Mamanetti. First of all, you may be absolutely turned off by the graphics, and this is understandable, as all it had were improved textures and higher resolution, rather than full-on graphic overhauls like Resident Evil remakes. Even though it may look like a pile of garbage in today's super sweaty HD characters, this game offers good level designs and an interesting story. It also has pretty creepy sound design with the occasional humans crying and screaming. This game is a mix of action-adventure and platformer, with its platforming sections requiring precise jumping to traverse through each level. Controls are a bit wonky, but you'll get used to it over time. Exploring is required, and it is worth it, as it will net you Dark Souls required to progress through the game, and items that will increase your health. You'll also encounter zombies and demons along the way, and taking them on can feel daunting at the beginning, as you're still getting used to the controls, compounded by a weak starting weapon. However, it does get better over time once you obtain more powerful weapons. This version of the game thankfully has auto-targeting, where your hands can't seem to get used to its wonky controls. While most people might just skip this game entirely because of its old-ass graphics and wonky controls, I'd recommend that you give it a go. The story and atmosphere may change your mind, while fans of the original will definitely want to play this for the slightly improved gameplay and previously cut levels. And number 3 we have Shaq Fu, Legend Reborn, a side-scrolling beat-em-up game featuring none other than the former professional basketball player Shaquille O'Neal. First of all, the story of Shaq Fu is insane. Basically, the world is on the brink of disaster. Celebrities have revealed their true identities, demons who intend on marauding the public to control the planet. Only you, a towering Chinese orphan named Shaq Fei Hong, an obvious reference to the Chinese legendary martial artist Wong Fei Hong, can save all of humanity. Trained by a kung fu master, you must journey to the most perilous corners of the world to fight evil and realize your destiny as the chosen one. You'll be beating demons up across Hollywood and hell. To fight these demons off, you have your standard attacks, a powerful special attack that requires a meter to be charged, a dash attack, and your massive foot. You won't only be using a massive body to destroy your enemies. You can pick up and use various weapons, throw barrels across the screen, and roll boulders down hills. At certain points in the game, you can also don a robotic suit or become a cactus to murder your enemies. And all that crazy ass moves that you can do is a blast to perform, and fun as heck. While murdering hundreds and thousands of enemies at once on your screen is fun, doing that to the same enemies over and over again is less fun, due to the lack of enemy variety in this game. Some levels also feel drawn out and tedious as you beat seemingly endless enemies coming to you from both sides of the screen. Other than that, this game features some great over-the-top sense of humor that pokes fun at everything and everybody. Just forewarning, some may find it offensive. This game is fun and absolutely ridiculous, and if you're a fan of side-scrolling beat-em-ups and don't mind offensive humor, you may just enjoy Shaq, a Legend Reborn. And number 4 we have Jay and Silent Bob Mall Brawl, a retro beat-em-up game. When I say retro, it's like SNES retro, like very retro. It was originally released on the NES, 30 years after the original release of the NES console. Crazy, I know! This game is iconic in today's standards because of its faithfulness to the 8-bit, 16-bit era, with some cute-looking sprites and chiptune music that is catchy as hell, especially the boss themes. The story follows Jay and Silent Bob, who after infiltrating a game show must now fight their way through a mall and the parking lot to make their way back to the quick stop grocery store. There's hardly any cutscenes nor dialogue though, so don't expect a deep story. In terms of its beat-em-up gameplay, if you're not a fan of the 8-bit era, then you'll probably not like this game. You basically have 3 buttons, a punch, a kick, and a jump. You can switch between Jay and Silent Bob if you're playing single player with a press of a button. You have combos, a dash, and weapons to aid you in battle. What you'll find when playing this game is that the game is flipping hard. If one of your characters die, they cannot be tagged in. If your other character dies before the first one's revived, it is game over, and you have to start the stage over. Furthermore, your health can only regenerate to about half. There are only 12 health bars in total, and health pickups are hard to come by. The AI is also incredibly aggressive, as if you've just killed everyone in their family and they're all out to murder you and cook you for a banquet dinner. You can get knocked down really easily and sometimes stun chained to death. If all of that is making your palms sweat, wait till you hear this. It gets even more difficult as the game progresses. Furthermore, your punches and kicks have low reach, and together with a rough control, it should make all of your joints sweat profusely. However, it would be unfair to say that this game is outright not fun, as the boss fights are mostly well designed. Pulling off the limited combos available is also extremely satisfying. While this game may be too difficult for modern day gamers, back in the day, games are very difficult, and this game simply wears that on its sleeves. So if you want to experience or re-experience what gaming was potentially like back in the day, you found one. And number 5 we have An Airport for Aliens, currently run by dogs. A first-person semi-open world game filled with cute photos of dogs, and they talk. Sort of. You wake up in a cage after being hit in the head with a piano. Upon your reawakening, you must now get out and explore an airport and get a boarding pass to take a flight out of there. What's more is that the airport is run by dogs, or photos of dogs. The first level is fairly simple as you perform various tasks for different dogs to get yourself a boarding pass and a red passport. You must also decipher unfamiliar symbols strewn around the airport and learn how to use the time warp booth. This game runs on an internal clock with flight schedules. The time warp booth means that you do not have to wait around once you've got the goods required to progress. After the first level, you are brought to a bigger airport and requirements to progress get even more complicated. It's like a Chihuahua needs Y, so you need to go to Z kind of puzzle system. The characters that inhabit the airport are very interesting and funny. You have a Willy Wonka dog that stalks you on flights, a dog who sells briefcases but absolutely hates them, a pilot dog who is also an alcoholic, and many more eccentric dogs to meet and wag your tail with. The tone of the game remains light and breezy, with some very cute and funny conversations to be had with various dogs in the airport. There's also plenty to explore from Patsville to Uranus. Within these areas are plenty of things to mess around with, like a cat-run squeakeasy, a David Bauer dog with illegal products, and an overzealous safety dog. This game features great writing with a really cute visual style. If you like a relaxing game with cute wee dogs in it, this is definitely one to play. And number 6 we have Swimsanity, a multiplayer underwater shooter with action-packed co-op and versus game modes, both online and local play. This game is all about fast-paced action, angry fishes, and survival. You play the role of several superheroes, and your task is to get from point A to point B while avoiding mega creatures lurking on that stage. You will pass through 3 checkpoints, avoid all obstacles, traps, and enemies till the end. While the basics may sound simple, this game is actually very punishing. It seems like the entire underwater world just wants to snap you in half, but it's also fun. There are 5 unique worlds, 8 different game modes, and over 150 challenges to complete. You can tackle each of his challenges yourself or up to a team of 4, with multiplayer being the best way to play this game. It is still a difficult game in groups, but it becomes more manageable. It just loves breeding arguments between the superheroes, but in real life. If you don't have anybody locally to play with, you can play with others online, and the developers have enabled crossplay, so you can play with players from a wide variety of consoles. In terms of modes, you have the story mode, survival mode, deathmatch, capture the flag, and last man standing. The gameplay is easy to pick up, fun, competitive, and quick. Variation in power-ups and character stats allows for different playstyles. Playing in a group can be extremely addictive. Completing challenges nets you golden orbs which you can use to unlock new characters. Each character has access to unique special powers known as unleashes. You earn special powers by completely obliterating everything in sight, filling up your star meter. This game is a true multiplayer experience, so if you have a good group of friends to play with, this game will provide hours of fun. At number 7 we have Marlow, Briggs, and the Mask of Death, a hack-and-slash action-adventure game. You play as the titular character, Marlow Briggs, and you've just been stabbed through the ribcage by a scythe. Naturally, the game doesn't end there, as you're resurrected by the vengeful spirit of an ancient tribal deity who made the particular scythe her home. Now you're imbued by a glowing tattoo. You track down your killers, avenge your own death, and save your archaeologist girlfriend from the clutches of a power-hungry maniac mad on searching for a powerful artifact that will make him god. The story is kind of crazy, and this theme runs throughout the whole game, with its loud, silly, and explosion-obsessed campaign. While it does not introduce anything new to the genre, it is still really fun to play. Your arsenal includes a scythe that you can split into 2 to become claws, several area of effect spells, and a pair of ghostly wings to help you cross large gaps, much like Kratos' Icarus wings from God of War. You'll be running, double jumping, and then shimmying as you move from one battle encounter to the next. Hopefully you're playing with a controller, as you'll be smashing your X and Y buttons repeatedly, with the occasional trigger button to launch Spirit Blades with, murdering everything around you. The enemies for some reason love dying. It is satisfying to just destroy them with your area of weapons. Other than that, there are collectibles and hidden areas to find, and large-scale environmental puzzles to solve. You'll also occasionally find that the game turns into an on-rail shooter or top-down blaster as you pilot helicopters to mow down your enemies. For your efforts, you are awarded with experience points to upgrade your skills. This game is stuffed full of big explosions, frantic combat, and plenty of mass murdering. It is a surprisingly enjoyable action-adventure as long as you don't go in expecting a God of War or Devil May Cry standard of game. At number 8 we have Semblance, a puzzle platformer game. You play as a Play-Doh-like blob in a world of similar materials and creatures. Your world is being overtaken by non-malleable crystal creatures. In order to drive them out, you need to gather glowing red orbs to purify the trees infected by crystals. In order to reach these orbs, you have to solve puzzles. The world of Semblance is fully malleable. You can shape everything to best suit your needs and situation. You can reshape platforms to get to objectives, and even alter your own squishy body. You can get underneath platforms and hit them with your head to shape them into inclines, or bend them to redirect or block hazards like deadly laser beams. If you've changed the world in a way that does not serve you, one button press is all you need for a hard reset. You can tackle each of the 4 hub worlds in any order that you choose, which is handy when you're stuck in one area, and want to clear ahead by playing a new puzzle or a simpler one. You might also encounter another section of the world that introduces you to a new mechanic that makes previously unsolvable puzzles easier. Each hub world changes the game's color palette, keeping visuals fresh. This game offers some lovely world and character designs, challenging yet manageable puzzles, and easy to pick up tight controls. While it could do with more content, if you love puzzle platforming games, Semblance will be a treat. And that's all for this bundle. While some games in this bundle are quite mediocre, others are unique and fun. It is cheaper than the rest of the bundles currently on offer, making it an imperfect but great contender. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.